So we got the new chapter of Verses, and at the end, something major is happening, and it is so exciting. Also, hey guys, welcome to my first review of Verses, and this is a great chapter to start off on because, like I said, so exciting. This is part 2 of chapter 24, so let's quickly go over what had happened in the previous chapter. So we saw that as Zabi was escaping the Lawless, suddenly the Tyrant Bear from the Crimson Forest showed up, which was of course incredibly powerful, and we saw Renry having to use 50 souls of the innocent lawless people that were taking refuge inside of the church using the Cursed Land soul container turret gun thing. And he was able to kill the Tyrant Bear with that, but it turns out that it was infected by a parasite, and it eventually started to pull giants and other beings into it and became like this Resident Evil monster at the end of the chapter. That's pretty much going to be the theme of this chapter, everyone taking on this big parasite monster thing. So we see Renry once again taking souls to load up the soul container, but this time he's taking like his own Kyokai members who are like running away in fear. And as this is happening, Zabi's like, hey guys, instead of us running away, we have to help the lawless. Not saying that we should save the lawless, but you know, they've imprisoned people from other worlds inside that church, and this will drag all the innocent people living in the land of the lawless into a huge massacre. And on top of that, we can't let the natural enemies that we're pitting against each other get too strong, such as we see in this case with the parasite, you know, taking over the Tyrant Bear and absorbing one of the Titans. So Renry winds up firing off another bullet from his soul container turret thing that we saw him use in the previous chapter, and it once again does comparable damage like it did before, but now that the parasite has taken over the Tyrant Bear, it just regenerates from the damage. And that was like essentially all he really has to stand against things this powerful, and since he just ran out of souls, he's kind of like a sitting duck, and he's just trying to avoid getting attacked by it after this until it just gets to the point of where he can't really do much, and he's literally about to die until Zabi protects him with some fireballs. And you're thinking like, well, just let him die. Just kill Renry. He's pure evil. We saw what he's capable of. We see what he is capable of eventually doing, but it's like, you know, Zabi does have his reasons for saving him, which will be explained because after Renry gets saved by Zabi, he's like, what fun, you're just dancing in a play they staged for themselves. You shaved down our forces so you could rescue us. You acted like the naive little damsel, but you were after us the whole time. Not bad. And then of course Zabi's like, no, we didn't plan any of that. We're really trying to save you. We need our knowledge about these other worlds and the creativity that comes with it. So that's why Zabi is trying to save Renry here and work together with the lawless. Yes, they are despicably evil, but Zabi sees them as an asset at this point. And, you know, Zabi's a good guy. And that causes Renry to be like, I see. You're even crueler than me. You're trying to kill us all. So this could be, I guess, interpreted a few ways. Possibly means that Renry sees Zabi trying to be selfless here and work together to save everyone rather than just doing the pragmatic thing and either escaping or just trying to kill the natural enemy as a means of assured mutual destruction, I guess, amongst everyone. Basically saying like, hey, stop being such an altruistic, selfless type of guy and be more selfish and evil like us and we might actually survive. So after this, the big parasite monster starts spitting out mini parasites trying to infect the others around. And Kayla is able to save Zabi from getting infected yet again. But it's actually Renry who winds up getting infected this time. And it makes you wonder like, oh, is he done? Is that pretty much the end of Renry? Is he just going to become a parasite? Well, we'll get into that towards the end of the chapter because there's a few possibilities here. So after this, the parasite like evolves yet again and it sprouts the head of Gout. Gout is like the little underling of Grig. His official title is the junior of the Kyokai. And the parasite is like using him to speak. He's actually said in this chapter that it's using Gout's brain as a base and gained intelligence. This is the first time we've seen this. We didn't know that they were capable of this, and it's pretty eerie and creepy seeing this, because it's kind of has consciousness, but it's almost speaking as if like a feral human could speak using language, if that makes sense. And it just destroys Grig, like, you know, Hulk smashes him to pieces. And then it just goes on like a rampage. It's like, I feel so good, I want to eat more. And it just starts absorbing anybody in the vicinity that it can. And we're gonna find out it's not just taking like the lawless, it's also taking like mages and people from the Mecha Ordinance as well. Because Zabi says magic guns, it's integrated everything. Is there anything we can do? Is there any way to fight that thing? And it just becomes this big, crazy, like I said before, Resident Evil boss monster. It looks really cool, actually. And this is definitely one of the strongest natural enemies we've seen in the series so far. So now that they're facing down this thing, all hope is lost. No one sees a way to defeat this thing because it can just regenerate, and it has, you know, multiple races incorporated into it. And it just keeps evolving, and now it has intelligence as well. And it gets to the point of where the lawless just start praying, because the church that they've been camping out in is a ruin from before the collapse of humanity. They knew what it was about and what it represented, but, you know, as the lawless Mad Max world went on, it kind of just became a joke to them. But now that they're just facing down total terror that there's nothing they can do about, they're just hopeless, and they just start praying to whoever. But little do we know, they're actually praying to someone. Because Renry comes in, and he's like, no, don't do it, don't pray, you can't pray, stop! And this is when things get hyped, because Renry comes from Indignia, whose natural enemy is God, or the being who calls himself God. And what do you know, at the very end of the chapter, we see God's eye looking at the superworm, and that's where the chapter ends. Oh man, this is just so exciting. So I guess in the next chapter, we're finally going to see God's true debut. I mean, we've seen him before in like 2 panels, I think, but that's pretty much it. We don't know much about him or it. Like, we just know from Renry that it's Indignia's natural enemy, or as he says, their cause for concern, and that it manifested due to humans' faith, an exalted God, and that he can't say any more than that. And I'm sure there's tons of theories as to what this thing actually is. I mean, I guess it has to be something different than what we've seen before, right? It can't be like an alien or something, because there's already aliens. So it's very possible that it's like a thought entity that manifested from the people of Indignia, maybe, or it just is an alien, or it's like an interdimensional being. That's something that we haven't seen before. But this god is probably ridiculously strong. I mean, he's got to be top 5, top 3 strongest in this verse, I'm assuming, just based off of his aura farming. And this big superworm might have been built up just to job to God here to show how strong he is, because I'm thinking that's going to happen. Like, he's just going to beast this thing. Now, aside from that, we still have Renry, who got infected by the parasite. So either Renry is going to get absorbed by this parasite, like maybe God defeats it, but then it like survives or something, and then takes Renry, and then Renry becomes its intelligence, and then Renry just becomes like the new leader of the parasite. So it's like using his crazy, demented, intelligent brain, and then works from there. Or God does something to erase the parasites from that area, and he winds up saving Renry, or Renry gets saved by Zabi, because we saw that Zabi can nullify the parasite. So he might just do to Renry what Zabi did to himself to get rid of his own. But man, let me know what you think about this chapter in the comments. What do you think is going on with God? What do you think he is? What do you think he's going to do? And what do you think is going to happen with Renry? If you liked the video, guys, please give it a like, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.